Hey guys, and welcome to the second official stream of building the game Oblation. Now, if you haven't watched the first stream, just to recap you a little bit, this is the first official game under Red Fool Studio. I'm not only creating a classic style RPG top-down game, but we're also collaborating with an author, Seth Witherow, on his dark fantasy adventure game. Now, if you want to check out the book to understand more of the lore of the story, go ahead and click on the link in the description. If you want to support, though, the development, please go ahead and locate the game's Steam page at Oblation on Steam. It's going to currently look like this. We are going to have some updates, though, in the near future. But please go ahead and wishlist the game. If you want to be more part of the development, though, if you navigate to our official website, redfoolstudio.com, locate tools and games, and click on Oblation info page, you're going to get this page here, where you then have the opportunity to donate to the game's development to be part of the voting for specific things, like maybe different types of enemies or levels that we're going to create. But if you even want to take it a step further, for $50 and above, you can become your very own NPC in the game. All right, now that's a limited time offer, so I highly suggest if you want to do that, you do that early on, because we are going to run out of slots real quick. Now let's go ahead and jump into the development. Now, if you weren't here for the first session, just to give you a little recap of what we currently have, we have currently a nice starting main menu scene. So let me go ahead and let's jump into that and just take a look real quick. You have nice splash images, nice author credits. We might change these in the long run. I just put something for now. We have this nice little background, the title of the game, different games you can start, and of course a quick button. Now if you select new game, eventually we're going to add a specific cutscene if it's the first time starting a new game. But just like in the story in the book, you're going to start off in your current little house in a village. Now because this is a classic top-down style game, we can move up, down, left, and right. We can also swing our selected weapon any direction. Eventually, we are going to add a dash button as well with some mana, and then of course our hearts on the left. But we're also going to go ahead and use a shield. Now, I already added the shield. That wasn't in the last part, but basically how the shield works is it just forces a charge with whatever shield you're holding. In the game, you're going to have two types of shields. You're going to have the family shield, but you're also going to have the basic shield. Now, this is the family shield because it represents the family symbol, but overall, I do like it so far. We also have a main menu where we can go ahead and swap out different weapons, potions, healing, wand, hammer, just a bunch of other cool things we can use. We also have a section where we can collect trinkets that are going to go ahead and give the player kind of like a little bonus to either their health, their base attack, or their mana ability. All the way to the left, we're going to have our respawn button. I like having a respawn button just because if the player gets stuck somewhere, or they want to restart because they knew they could have done something differently, a nice respawn button is just how I like it. And then we also have settings to adjust maybe the sound, or maybe the graphics, or just anything else in the game. Maybe resetting the file overall will be in the settings. And then of course the main menu button that sends us back to, of course, the main menu. And then we can close that with that button there. Now the UI might change overall. I just kind of put something quick together that kind of matches the theme of the game. This is kind of like a dark fantasy style story, so I wanted to kind of incorporate that by adding dark purples as kind of like the main color of the game. Okay, but overall I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to reset the shield though, because we're not supposed to have this shield right off the bat. We're actually supposed to have the family shield. So let me jump into the game world. Let's open up the player, and let's go ahead and change the shield to what we need. So I'm going to locate this and do B shield. That's our global script. Now if we go back into the game, we should have our basic family shield. Let's see if that works. Yep, and how I'm doing this right now in the game is I'm simply using the right click. Currently we have the keys for A, W, S, D to move around, spacebar to charge, and then release to hit. For the shield though, I'm going to use just right click on the mouse. Eventually, once I add mobile buttons, we're going to have an arrow pad here on the left, or a joystick. And then we'll also have the 3 buttons here. We're going to have a button for hitting, we're going to have a button for shield, and then we're also going to have a button for dash. But overall, it's a pretty simple game. I do like simple games just because I feel like there's a lot you can do with it when you keep it kind of at a base level. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. Now let's go ahead though and get started on creating the dash, okay? Let's go ahead, and what we're gonna do is, let's go into the player, open the player up a bit. Now the dash isn't really gonna have anything super special with it. I might make the player kind of animate a bit when you move to the side. But let's go ahead and let's go to the player itself. Let's go to our inputs. Let's see what we got. We got input for our shield, and then we got 2 for attacking. So we're gonna need another input, kind of like the shield one, but this time for the dashing. So let's go ahead and let's do this here. I'm gonna use a new action button, and I'm just gonna call it dash. Now we don't have dash yet, so I'm gonna go into project settings, into add new action. I'm gonna go call it dash, all lowercase. Let's add that. Let's add a new one in here. I'm gonna use the enter key for this. Let me know if you don't think that's good. It's up to you. Let's close that. And let's go ahead. Let's see what we got here. So we got dash. Now I don't really care about all this stuff here. You might need a global variable for dashing, because dashing is going to basically just force the hit animation and just move the player forward. So we're going to do hit, and let's go ahead. Player animation hit. We don't need this stuff here, technically. We could force charging to fail. Well, it should already be off to begin with. Let's go ahead, and we're gonna add a couple things for that. Let's go in over here. Let me go ahead and just hit up the chat. Let me just add something in the chat just so people know I'm paying attention. Cool. All right, now let's go ahead, and what we're gonna do is, all right, we're gonna force the hit animation, okay, but we don't want anything to be visible when we do this. So let me go into here and let's take a look at how I did this. It's been a couple days. So we have anim hit, prefix, animate sprite, set animation loop. Yep. That's good. Let's go ahead and just see how it looks real quick. But we do want to go ahead and we want to add that in the correct way. So if I go ahead and let's go to 2D, let's save what we got there. Let's go ahead now and just right click. Okay, nope, sorry, enter. If we hit enter, it should automatically hit. Okay, good. So that's kind of, when we do the enter, I kind of want that position, but we don't want to see anything visible in their hands. So what I'm going to do is I'll create a global variable for that, just like we did with the shield. Let's go ahead and we're going to do one here. And this one's going to be for dashing. And we're going to say false for that. Let's go ahead, go to player, and for dashing, let's see what we got. So let's go up here. Here we go. We're going to set dashing equal to true. And we want to force the player to move in the direction very quickly. So we'll do global. Dashing. Okay. Let's see. Global dashing equals true. Nice. When that happens, we want to force the player to move a little bit. So we're going to, again, do another timer for this, I think. That's probably the best way we can do it. add a timer. We'll just call this dash timer. Probably going to eventually put all these timers in their own little node just so we can keep things organized. So we have dash timer, and let's go ahead and select it. 1 shot. 1 second's kind of long. Let's do 0.4 and connect a signal to that. Okay. And what we're gonna do is let's just turn off dashing. Oops. Global dot dashing equals false. And we need this value again because we don't want any weapons to be visible. So if I go to hit items, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put global if global dashing equals true, if that's the case, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn off hands because we don't want anything to be visible, but we do want to do return. Perfect. That should work pretty well there. So now, if we go back to 2D view, we can play here. Even though we have the sword selected as our default, we shouldn't see it by hitting enter. Perfect. Okay, awesome. So that's going to be our little dash. We can make it longer, to be honest. That's okay. We just want to make our character move now. We want to force them to move in whatever direction they're facing. So if we go back to player now, and if we go ahead, we go to physics process. Let's see if I can force this. Charging, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Might need to just create a new function to initiate some velocity. So what we're gonna do in our physics process, I'm here, adjust here. We're gonna go ahead, and if changing animation, that's fine. We need to force it. We need to basically say, hey, you're gonna move this direction. So what if, let me see. Let's see here. We need to create a function that repeats based on the direction of dashing. Okay, so is charging or animated blah, 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 blah. I don't care about that. What we could do is just say if global dot dashing is true, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to force it to move whatever direction we're going. So we do need these. And we are going to return because I don't want to care about the thing below it. So it's only going to force it for a couple seconds. We need to initiate the direction. So input direction, right move right, perfect. We need to know what direction we're facing, which I think we have a saved value for that. Current direction, perfect. Okay, current direction. So we need to set our velocity to our current direction. Let's see if I can do this. I think this will be okay if we do this. We just don't want to use the input vector. We don't really care about that. Yep, input vector we don't want. Let's see if this works. This might work. It'll be really nice if it works. I think it'll like fail though, but we'll see. That did not work. And it froze us. That didn't work. Let's go back over here. Let's see. Okay, so we have velocity, input normalized speed times speed, vectors like move and slide. Okay. Dashing equals true. Are we setting dashing to equal true? I think we are. Let me double check that. Dashing equals true. Perfect. After 1 second, dashing equals false. Now it shouldn't freeze the player necessarily, because it should skip on eventually. You know what I think we need to do actually? Is it's saving it as 0, so I think we need to use the original one and put it above. Let's try this. If this works, it'll be awesome. Well, I didn't like it. That's because it didn't create it before. Okay, I don't want to do it that way, input vector. We just want to do it by the current direction. So what if we do this? And we get rid of that. This might work now. Oh, didn't like that. Alright, now let's try it. Alright, let's see what we got. So we hit enter. There we go, but did it. Problem is it keeps glitching us after we do it. We do it once and it just stays there. We need to reset it, I think. Okay, so we need to reset. Maybe we don't need the animation actually. Let's try it this way. Okay, so it continually forces us. I wonder if it's actually forcing us like with it, because I don't care about them moving. I just want it to move and slide just specifically for that. And then I want it to not care anymore. But why is it locking it? That's the problem. Let's see, what if we... I just want to make sure it's stopping after the 1 second. Definitely not. Alright. Global dashing equals true. But when it equals false, it's not... It's still thinking it was where it was. So, how can we change that? Interesting. So we have our move and slide, perfect velocity. Is it not turning it off? That's what I think is not happening. Global dashing equals false. You know what? I don't think we're actually initiating the timer. That's probably exactly what's happening. We need to do that. Alright, now it should only do it for 1 second, and then hopefully be able to give us the ability to reset. So now, get out of the door. Yep, okay, perfect. But I want the animation to go a little bit longer. And also want the dash to actually be a dash, because it's not a dash. I want the speed to like triple almost. So let's go up to our speed for the dashing. And I think the animation's wrong because, yeah, he should be stepping back. So it's actually charge. We don't actually want it to hit. We want it to charge. So this is what we'll do. Same thing, what we've done before is charging equals true. And then we also want to go ahead, turn that off when it's done. And then if I go to hit items, this is what we need. We want it to be in the other one, so we don't care about the hit because we're not going to use the hit anymore. We care about the charge. Charged items. Yes. Okay, so similar to what we did up here. Let's see. Well, I want it in the individual item actually. So if I go into the individual, we don't want to make any of these active. So even above the shields, we want to say if dashing equals true, turn off items. Perfect. Okay, now this will look nice. Let's go ahead now and let's initiate it. So let me figure this out. Let's see. Okay, so now we leave the house and we initiate the dash. Looks like it's not playing the actual dashing effect though. Now that might be because we're adding it the wrong way, possibly. Let me actually try this then. Let's go back in here. Let's see what we did wrong. So we have shield, is using shield true, is charging true. Is charging true. I think it's because it's initiating it based on animation. What is playing the dashing? Because that doesn't make any sense. We want the dashing, handle animations. Is charging, okay. It's because we're not calling the handle animations, okay. So we need to call that. Yes. Do we need to add the velocity though? I don't think we do. Yeah, charging. We need to initiate that. Because it's always initiating that in here by default. But because we're stopping the movement, that's the problem. So we need to actually adjust where we're putting this. So where we're putting it is not going to work. We need this do if, okay, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we can even do an if before that. Because I don't want any of this to happen unless we're doing what we need to. So let's see, maybe I actually could just do that, but then actually set that in there. And then do a little bit of this. And let's see if that works, because that might work. Let's see, so if I go out there, perfect. That's what I wanted. See how he kind of like backs up a bit? Like he's kind of dashing, he's like jumping forward. That's exactly what I want, but it's way too slow. So let's go ahead, I want it to be really quick. So we'll do speed, and I'm just gonna times the speed by like, let's times it by like 3 or something. We could have a default number in there, but this will just be easier. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see how this works. It's way too, I don't know, it's okay speed-wise. It might be a little faster. Let me times it by 4. But it's way too long. We can just shorten the timer, to be honest. I think it's 0.4 seconds. We could do 0.1. I do like that speed, but now we need to make the timer way shorter. Let's do 0.1. Real tiny amount of speed. All right, let's see if this looks a little nicer. Let everything load up. Might be a little too fast. That's a little too fast. But I do like how long it is, though. All right, let's do times 3 this time. And then maybe we'll do 0.2 seconds or 0.15. That's still, I think it, yeah. We need it to be a little longer. 0.2 seconds. Let's see if that's a little better. There we go. That looks great. sweet. I like that. Let's see. How about the actual distances? How many tiles? It's like 2 tiles. Maybe it'll go a little bit longer. Because that's like 2 tiles distance. Which is going to be kind of not worth it. Let's try 3. So let's see if 0.3 seconds works then. Let's see. That's okay. I just wanted to get to at least 2 tiles probably. Yeah, 2 tiles is good. I think it could go a little faster too, actually. Maybe a little faster. Is speed a float? It is. So I could do 3.5 instead of 4. Let's see. I don't know. It doesn't really like. Let's see how many tiles that is. I kind of like the 2 tiles better. It seems too long. Let's do 3. Well, maybe we will do 3.5, but shrink this to 2 pi. That might look a little better. I like the speed of it. I just don't like how far he can go. It just looks a little unnatural. All right, let's try this. I still think it's like way too long. I don't know, it's not bad, I guess, because he's gonna like, that's okay. We'll keep it for now, we can always adjust it later. That's okay. And then the shield, yep. All right, so I think we should give it like a little bit of an effect when it's doing something. Some kind of like particle system effect when he is dashing, if that makes sense. Because I want it, well, I want it to like shine a bit when we're doing things. So like maybe when he gets hit, he'll flash red, but maybe when he's like doing something cool, he'll flash white. If that makes sense. I think that might be okay. Yeah, okay. All right, let's try that. Let's see what we got. Yep. So we need it to flash. How are we going to do that? We need it to flash. Do we need the character to flash? I want them to like, kind of like, almost like flicker a bit. Let me double check something. All right, let's go ahead and make the character flash when they run. I don't know, I want particles to kind of fly out of them, like going the opposite direction almost. I think that'd be kind of cool. But I also want to reorganize this because I don't like how all the timers are sticking out like that. Let me add another node 2D. Call this timers. And let's drag and drop each timer into there. This is gonna really make it freak out, but that's okay. Let me make sure all the timers. So here we go. Dash timer. Shield timer. What else we got? Actually, there might be one other hit timer. I don't know why I didn't see the hit timer anywhere. It's a little weird. Why do I have no hit timer? Is it in here? Am I not using the hit timer? I'm definitely using the hit timer. where is the hit timer being called? Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know where it is. Maybe I'm not even using the hit timer. Maybe it's just playing it based on the animation. Let's try it. No, it's just doing it. That's okay. Weird. I don't know. I think the dash is okay, but I think it'll look pretty cool if he like has like a nice effect when he dashes. Overall, I like it a lot. Nice. Okay. So let's go ahead and adjust some things. What do we need for this? Let's see. All right, so we have the dash, we have the hit. We want to make the character flash when he's dashing. Okay. So how we're going to do that is we're going to do this. You know, my only problem with this, no, that's okay, it doesn't matter, because I was going to say it might cause an issue, but I think it's going to be fine. Well, it might cause an issue. Yeah, it might cause an issue. I have a better idea. Let's go ahead and remove that. Let me look up a piece of code for this. I used to do something like this to make the character flash, and it looks pretty cool. Hold on. Let me see if this works. Let's see if this is gonna work. I don't think it will work. It might work. Sprite is this animated sprite. Interesting. All right. Normal color is just going to be color. We're going to do the normal color image is going to be this. Should be. There we go. Modulate flash color. Well, I don't think we can do that because that's still not going to work. Even if we create a tween for this, it's still not going to work because I don't have anything to flash. We need to have something like around it to flash. Interesting. Huh. I don't know if I like that. Okay, flash white. Because even if I change the color of it, it's not going to matter. I could just do it the way I wanted. Yeah, we can't do it that way. Because it's not an individual. We need it to be an individual. If we... I think the particles, we could do particles. That'd be kind of cool. We need something. I like the flash though. The flash would be cool. Or like tint the color. Can we tint the color somehow? Here's the color. Can I tint the color somehow? I can like darken it. I could do like a red. That doesn't look good. We could like do a blue. I just feel like it'd be cooler if it could be like lighter. How can we make this lighter? Can I like... That actually does work. But it looks a little ridiculous. I think it's like blending in with the background though. Definitely not. Definitely. I like that. The problem is it does it all around it, and I don't like that. I just want it to be them, not the entirety of it. But I'm okay with... That looks okay, but a little ridiculous. It's like a ghost. Like silly. Oh, well, you know what? We could just do... Nope. Definitely not. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Let's get rid of that. How could we do this? Huh. I guess we could do like a tint of blue. Because I guess the mana is like blue, so maybe when it's using mana. I don't like that. I want it to flash white. Kind of like he's dashing or something. None of that. There we go. That looks kind of funny. Actually, that's okay. What was that up before? How did I do that? I want to change the raw value from 1 to... So 1 is regular, but I want to change it to 1.1. It's a little brighter. It's not bad. 0.2. It's like too bright. Oh, well, that went straight to 2. 1.2. I don't like that either. 0.5. That's not bad, I guess. It's a little too bright, I think. 0.4. A little less. Looks too pink if I do the other one. 1.3. Okay. Let's try that. Let's try adjusting the raw value. The R value. Okay. So when he's dashing, we'll try that. Let's go back here. So let's go ahead. Where is dashing? There we go. We're gonna adjust that. So let's take that. Now how do we access? Oops, daisy. How do we access this? I have no idea. It's modulate, I know that. Modulate. And we want to equal it to whatever this is. I've never changed the raw value. Let me look that up real quick. And we're trying to change the R value, I think. Yeah. Hold on. Let me copy this. Okay, we can do it just with color, I guess. Let me try it like this and see if it works. I forget what I did, but I did like 1.3. Is there 4 though? There's not 4. Interesting. 1.4. And then let's copy that again. Let's go back to here. Change it back to normal. Let's see if this works. Let's reset this to 1. And that should look pretty cool. So now, if we go ahead, I see no change. Interesting. Why? Because I knew it's not changing it. It doesn't work. 1.3. 0.4. Interesting. I think I'm doing it wrong. Maybe we do the... I don't think it's gonna work. Let me copy the whole thing. Oh, well, I'm a ding dong because I did that in the shield one. I should have done that in the dash. There we go. Now it should work. All right, let's go ahead. Try it out. There we go. Okay, so it flashes a little bit. It's a little too red though, I think. Looks like he's getting hurt almost. Like it's better than nothing, but I don't like it. What if we do 0.3 instead? Just want to make them a little bit lighter. All right, let's see what we get. Better, but still too bright. I want to do it to make them a little darker. So if we go in here, let's see. Way too bright. Whoa, that's crazy looking. Oh, that looks cool now. I like that. That would be wild if we could do that. Just all purple. Let's go back to 1. Blue's kind of cool. And then we shrink B down a bit. Do you like how it that? It would be perfect. Okay, that looks really good. Let's change that to that. That's the B value, I think. What did I change? B, so this one. So that'll be 0, and that'll be changing it to there. Okay, perfect. And then let's change it back to 1. Save that, back to here. Let's see if this looked good. There we go. Looks a lot better. Just a little more like, just a little something. Emphasizing they're using their powers or whatever. Again, we can always change this later. I still kind of wish it was a little more white because it looks very dark. But it is mana, so like I can't complain too much. Why is it like that in the middle? Let's go back to 1 for a second. Oh, it's because it's the shadow. What if we do 3? Nope. But I do like that. I liked what it was at. Make them a little lighter. Let's try this. All right, and let's add that there. Right. Now let's reset it to 1. Let's try it. Delicious. Okay, so we have our player. Oh, that barely changes. That just makes them look red. I like the blue one better. Looks like they're getting hurt. Don't like it. Don't like it. More blue. There we go. Let's try this one. That's going to be a 1, and that's the 3 one. Alright, let's try this one now. Huh, how do we do it? Let's see what we got. Okay, well that's wrong, but it will reset it. I'm okay with that. There we go. That's what I wanted. Something like kind of bright, makes the player shine a bit. I think it's a little strong though, to be honest. Can I like go down a little bit? Like a little bit? Oh no. No. Oh, red. Let's try this one. And then let's do that one. Then we can reset it. Let's see how that looks. That might be good. How long have I been doing this? Almost an hour. That's good. I wanted to do an hour today. That's okay. Alright, that's okay. I'll leave it for now. I just want the player to kind of like look like they're using their mana, if that makes sense. And what we could do also, to ensure that this is the last thing that changes, is I'm going to take that, and I'm going to do that. Perfect. Alright. How do you guys feel about the game? You guys like it? You think it looks cool? I think it looks great. Now, if I really want to be cool, we could add a little particles behind it. But I don't know. I think it might be a bit much. A bit much indeed. That might be a bit much. Let's see. I do like it though. I think it looks pretty good. To be honest, we probably don't need the particles. But anytime the player like does something powerful with mana, I want him to kind of shine like he has mana though, if that makes sense. So we need to make sure we add that for each one. Sweet. Okay, what are we at? 53? Alright, we're gonna hit an hour. I think that's what we're gonna do. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Do we want particles? Let me put a vote in there. Because I don't know. I think it looks okay without it, but I don't love it. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? It's okay. Could be better. Huh? I don't know. It could look kind of cool with particles. Alright, let's see. So, next thing we could do, we could add the particles, but I don't know. I'm not dying for the particles yet. We need to, we have a shield, we have that. We could start doing maybe some, what do you call it? Like attacking with it, if that makes sense. So we have our sword. we could start doing some potion throwing maybe. So we need to start throwing these potions. And we also shouldn't be able to hold any, of course, when we have 0. So I think we should do the rest of the weapons. Because we got the player functions down. We have attacking, we have shield, we have dashing. Overall, we got most of the basics down overall. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Overall, I like it. I like it. So I think we're going to do, we won't get to it today probably, but we're going to have to start on throwing potions. And let's see. Throwing potions, initiating the guidance staff. Everything else is kind of going to be like a weapon anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. Like, we're just going to be using our healing and this. So I think eventually we'll get into that. But I do want to make sure that we actually have all the functions down for each type of weapon that we can use technically. So, yeah, so we could kind of mess with that. But overall, I just want to make sure things are working good. For the staff, it's going to be weird because we're going to have it basically have a big pop-up here that kind of gives you a hint to what you need to do for the main mission. This is like a guidance staff. It's not really going to have any special attacks or anything like that, but really just kind of help the player out because the world is going to be open world and I don't want the player to just be lost in it because they didn't remember something silly that one of the NPCs told them. But yeah, overall I think it looks pretty good. Just a refresh for anybody who joined, if we go ahead back to the beginning, start current scene. We have, of course, some splash images. We will change that eventually to match up with the game style. We got our nice title page. We got a new game for each game save. We have a quit button to leave the game. Once you jump in the game, eventually we'll add a cutscene, but for now, you'll just start off in this little house here. This is like the starting little house for your player. In the story, that's kind of what he's doing. He's living in this little area here before he gets kind of like his big mission to go out and save parts of the world from the Prince of Corruption. So you start off like this. You can move all around. You're probably not going to have anything in your inventory when you first start. I just have everything in here basically to give us the ability to have it for now. But we can attack, we can charge attack. We're going to add a charge attack, which is going to have like a big slash next to it once you release it, which I think is going to be pretty cool. We'll have a bunch of different weapon types. We're going to throw different potions. We have a guidance staff we get eventually, like I mentioned earlier. Helps us in case we get stuck. We're also going to have a healing wand. The healing wand basically allows us to heal our player a bit. Now, it's going to use a lot of mana, so we can't just spam it anytime we're about to die. We also are going to have a hammer, and I think that'll be kind of cool for certain missions. Maybe we'll use the hammer to like push objects or smash different areas. But every single mega hit, it'll start flashing when you can use it. It'll use mana though when you do that, and like some effect will happen around the player. So probably some kind of like cool like ground pound or something when we use that. As for the potions though, when we hold a potion, it's basically going to start flashing, and then once it starts flashing, then we can release it and then throw it farther. But if we just use it without the mana, we can just throw it somewhere here. So probably once we get the mana in, we'll throw it to like a distance like this. But when you don't use mana, you'll just throw it like in front of you right here. And that'll be for every potion. The potions are going to be elemental, so we have like the evil potion, which is the green one, which is like the symbol of the villain in the game, like green fire. Then we have the regular fire potion. It's going to be like our traditional one. We're going to use that to destroy maybe like vines that are in our way or just other obstacles. We also have an ice potion. Now I think it'd be really cool to add like the ability for the ice potion to freeze water that we need to cross, or maybe just some other type of ice reasons. This is going to be a very puzzle-based game, so we're going to have a lot of different puzzles. We also have a boom potion, which is going to be like a thunder potion, or maybe some kind of like lightning potion. Not really sure what we'll do with that, but I like having 4. I think 4 is a pretty decent amount. How we'll get more of these, we can either buy these from shops, or we can go ahead and just locate them by fighting different enemy types and getting them. And as mentioned before, we also have the trinkets here. The trinkets are basically rewards for us for doing side quests in the game. It's going to automatically update either your health, your base attack, or your mana capacity. And then if you go all the way to the left, we'll have the respawn button, settings button, and then a menu button. Now, if you want to support the development, as I mentioned before, you can go ahead and be part of the team a little bit. If you donate, you'll be part of an email list that you can then vote on certain things we're going to add into the game. Any amount is for that, but if you want to be your very own NPC in the game, you can donate 50 or more, and then just add it to this Venmo here. It's going to be at the official website, redfoolstudio.com, and it's tools and games, and then Oblation info here. The link is attached to the description. We also have the wish list attached as well. That's going to be here. We are going to update the art. This doesn't really match the current theme of the game, but go ahead and please wish list so we can hit our mark and release the game. And then the last thing, just to let you know too, I also teach game development, so if you want to learn game development yourself, you can see all my classes attached on my YouTube channel. Alright overall though, I think it looks pretty great, guys. This was a good session. I think we got a pretty decent amount done. So far though, we are looking good, and I think I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.